The funny thing about trying to create your own graffiti style, your own actual letters, you know, with your own flavor, it's real difficult because you got to have studied. You have to have studied styles that are out there, but you also have to study, you know, the masters of the craft. You know, realistically, if you want to be very good at your letters, same thing as being really good at something else like boxing or gymnastics or whatever. You go back in time, and I don't mean literally, you're not Orson Welles. You go back in time and you study who was the masters at that time, you know? So if you are studying, you know, early drawing and painting, I don't care what it is, you know, you can look up Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci and start from there until you finally come all the way back to yourself, to where you find yourself. And at that point, then you can start discovering what exactly you want to get out of the medium, the art form, right? So when it comes to actually style creation, there are a lot of guys out there who they just copy whatever the trend is or whoever the hot guy is, or, you know, and they stay in their little genre. They stay in graph, and they pay attention to their friends or whoever it is or whoever they like, and they really don't have that much of an idea of like who is worth paying attention to, you know, who understands the sacred math of it. When it comes to what I mean by the sacred math, there's a reason why what Dondi did back in the days looks sick now, and what he did in the 80s looks beautiful now. There are a lot of things about that. There's a reason why Sento looks awesome back then and still looks awesome now. Whether Bando back then looks awesome now. You can go on and on and on. And I, for one, this is my, it's almost 37 years, 36 years. Yeah, 36 years. And after 36 years, I still am a student and I still study. You know, you hear the names. You hear Ram LZ, you hear, you know, like I said, Dondi or whatnot. You hear about the masters, and, you know, I don't know if a lot of people actually seek them out and try to study these guys. If you did, then you'd have a very good idea of the framework of what makes a letter beautiful, like your standard graffiti letter, style writing letter. I don't like to go and put it all on hip hop per se, because I honestly, me personally, I'm not from the camp that believes that hip hop solely made this our look. I believe we probably would have found that without hip hop innately. I think we would have made that, like it or not. Not to say that I'm trying to separate it from hip hop, because it's not. They're together. It's just that I felt that it was already on its own growth. It already had its own masters in it that was steering the medium, the art form, a certain direction. And hip hop was part of the movement. I mean, it was part of the movement of hip hop, but not the sole thing that dictated how the letter was understood and overstood. So what I mean by this is that, so if you were trying to understand someone's, what do you call that, movement, the way that they want to make their letters move, if you even understood what I'm saying about letters moving, if you can understand that, then you can actually understand my process. And my process, as I'm going to show you just two little drawings I drew real quick, both on the same day, essentially. And the difference of their movement, you know, they're two different approaches to letter bending, style writing, right? Both of them is definitely characteristically different than what I normally do, but also it's definitely something I always do, because I'm a style flipper. I understand style innately, so these type of letter bending and twisting, stuff like that, is not foreign to me. It's absolutely my second nature. It's in me. And I attribute it to the studying of the masters, painting with the masters, but also competing with the masters eventually. You know, my idols became my rivals, and eventually I became part of the pantheon myself, which I never thought I would be. I never thought that that would ever happen to me. So the significance of it is that as you see the way I draw these, the pattern, the skeleton is there. All of the stuff that you would expect out of a beautiful letter is there. The only difference is I know how to put that bibbidi bop in it. You understand? I know how to put that intertwining beauty inside there. You know what I mean? I still know how to make it look beautiful without looking like a spaghetti Western mess, you know? Back in the days, there were a lot of guys from other parts of America that weren't from the East Coast. I'm from the Southeast. And down here in Atlanta, we basically got a direct line from New York City, because half of them, either if your family was black, you got a grandma that lived in ATL. If your family was Cuban, your grandma lived in Miami on the way down past ATL. So a lot of that stuff came down through here. And we were able to take that and understand the basic letter very, very, very acutely. There were guys out towards the other part of the country, and they had their kind of a rough idea, but their rough idea was a little bit skewed. And a lot of times they relied on hiding that ineptness. No shade, I'm not trying to say it wasn't dope in its uniqueness, but there was a certain basic understanding of letters that got lost in the sauce, if you will. And they hid it inside of different swirlies and dirlies, and now they hide it all the time with colors. They hide it with colors and tricks and make everything look like three-dimensional and all this kind of stuff like that, and that's totally fine. But really, if you can't do it in black and white, you just really cannot do it. So here's an example of my regular day of doing it in black and white, which you know, I found over the years, like, black book's enough to me. If you can do it black, white, and gray, there's really not much else you need to say, because honestly, when it comes time to actually executing it, it's up to you, your abilities, and your can selection, whatever you have. So here's a couple, so you could take a look at it, you know, and you can see where in one, it's mostly just going with a straight up text style writing. Let me just get busy with it and put some funk to it. That one's pretty straightforward, and the other one is just straight up theme based. So I made my letters out of this one out of straight up judo players, and all of the letters are real judo techniques, you know, like one letter is osotogari, and you know, another letter, you know, is, you know, well, you get the point. So that's the way I think. So I think of different ways to make style writing, because I have not fallen out of love with writing my name and writing in general. The way you do it is challenging yourself through the art of the letter, through the actual understanding of the sacred math, and then trying to challenge yourself by making these things. And new styles just start to show up. Here's one way we do it. So check it out. Tell me what you think. You know, comment below and stuff like that. And keep checking out for more videos that I make. All right? Peace out. Mr. Totem out.